What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another hunting boot camp. Today I am talking about choke tubes. That wasn't supposed to happen, but we're going to talk about what they are, why they're important to you as waterfowlers, and how to pick out the right one for how you hunt. So let's get to it. Starting out, this is what a choke tube is. All it is a tube of metal that constricts or chokes your pattern. So when you're shooting out of your shotgun, your pattern's going to spread out. Also why they call it a scatter gun. Your choke tube is going to dictate how far that pattern goes. So if you go with one like this is just an example of a long range choke tube, it's going to allow your pattern to go out a lot further and have a more effective kill range out at like 40-50 yards, compared to like this is just a modified choke, but it's going to be a lot closer. It's going to have an effective kill range between 25 and 40. So depending which choke tube you use, that's going to dictate your effective target range. So generally speaking, there are 4 main choke tubes in use today for waterfowlers. There's actually a lot more, but the 4 main ones, just to kind of narrow it down, are the improved cylinder, the modified, improved modified, and full. Those are going to be the 4 most basic choke tubes out there. There's a lot of company specific named ones, and even some other types of choke tubes too that are more common for people that shoot lead or turkeys, home defense. There's a whole bunch of different other types of choke tubes for different uses, but we're focusing on just the waterfowling ones today. So starting out would be the improved cylinder. It's going to be the most open of the waterfowling choke tubes that are used, and it's going to have an effective 40-inch spread at 25 yards, which means 40-inch circle. It's going to have the most BBs in there, and that's going to happen at 25 yards with that choke tube. So that's going to be your sweet spot, your target range for getting birds in. 20 yards would be great too. You can push it out to 30, but that's going to be your main target range, 25 yards. Moving up is going to be your modified, like what I have here, and that's going to be anywhere from 25 to 40 yards for your kind of sweet spot of where you're going to want those birds in. The next one after that is your improved modified, and that's going to be from 30 to 40 yards. And finally is the full, and that's going to be 40 yards plus. So as you can see, there's differences, a lot of difference in which choke tube you use as to what distance you're going to have. And that doesn't mean that choosing that choke tube doesn't mean you can't shoot birds. Like say you have a full choke, just because the target range is going to be 40 yards or out doesn't mean you can't shoot birds with a full choke at 30 yards or 25 yards. It's going to be harder because your pattern is going to be a lot tighter with that choke, but it's not impossible. And if you hit them with that choke, you're probably not going to have to worry about cripples because of that pattern. It's all them BBs going to be packed into that tight space, but it's just a lot harder to hit them at that distance with that tight of choke. So now I've covered what a choke tube is, what it does, the 4 main ones, and their respective target distances. I'm going to kind of go into how to pick out the right one for you. So the first thing you should do when you're picking out a choke tube is kind of think how you hunt, how your hunting style is, how you want birds, how you want to work birds. And one good example of this is like during teal season. So if you're a big teal hunter and you're going out, especially early season, think about how the teal come in. Number 1, they're small birds to start with, and then number 2, they're going to come in, they don't really give you a lot of warning, and they dump in, and they just come in really close, really tight. So you're probably going to want a more open style choke, like your improved cylinder or your modified. You're going to want something that puts a good pattern out, up close, not too far out, and so you can get more BBs in that circle where that bird is, and hopefully knock that bird down. That's one example. Compared to if you're going out late season, you're usually hunting bigger birds. It's going to be your Canada geese, your mallards, maybe your divers, depending where you're at. It's going to be mainly the bigger birds, and maybe they're skittish, maybe you're resorted to pass shooting for whatever reason, or they just, they work and work and work, and all you can get them in is 35 yards. So eventually you start calling shots out there. That's where you want to go with, at the very least, probably your modified, move up to the improved modified, or even your full, or one of those specialty chokes from other manufacturers. But how you hunt, when you hunt, where you hunt, it's gonna all dictate what goes into picking out the right choke tube. So if you know you're gonna be working birds in tight, or you're hunting small birds like teal, your more open style chokes are probably going to be your best bet, compared to if you're hunting those skittish birds, those late season birds. Probably going to want to move up a couple of chokes. At the very least, go with a modified, maybe go up to a full, and that's going to depend upon your shooting skill as well. So that's just a few things to think about when picking out a choke tube. As far as the best beginning choke tube, I would probably recommend the modified, with that effective target distance between 25 and 40 yards. That's going to give you just a good in-between, no matter what the birds are doing. It doesn't matter if they come in really tight or if they hang out there a little bit, you're going to be able to have a decent pattern, between those distances. So after you purchase your choke tube or choke tubes, maybe you got a couple and you just want to switch them throughout the season based on whatever season it is or how the birds are working in your area, that's perfectly fine. Make sure you go out there and pattern it though with whatever ammunition you intend to use this upcoming season, because it's going to vary. I can tell you the generic distances, the generic target ranges that each choke tube is effective at, but until you go out there and actually put BBs on paper, you're not going to know for sure. And make sure you use your exact ammunition that you're planning on using, because it's going to vary between shotgun shell manufacturers. It's going to vary between lead and steel. So you need to know, to be most accurate, you need to know the shells that you're using, how they're going to pattern, and what your effective target range is, and hopefully that'll help you put down more birds this upcoming fall. That is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave me a thumbs up. Always helps me out. Drop a comment, let me know what your thoughts were. Guys, did I miss anything in regards to choke tubes? Which ones do you guys like? Which are some specific models that you guys prefer? Leave them down in the comments below so other people can maybe, take a look at them if they're deciding which choke tube to go with. Subscribe if you haven't already, so you can stay up to date with the latest hunting and fishing exploits. We are 3 months away, less than 3 months away to teal season, so it's going to be here before we know it. We just got to wait out the summer, but we'll have more of those videos coming up shortly, as well as more of these hunting boot camps every Monday they come out. And cooking videos. I've got a freezer full of food that I need to start cooking, and I'm going to share some new recipes with you guys very shortly, and we'll catch you out there. See ya.